So we are live now.
Yes. Welcome, sir.
2 more minutes.
Then we'll start.
Nisha आगे.
Shall we start or wait?
2 more minutes.
Okay.
You put 3 o'clock, so let's start at 3.
Right, sir.
आवाज बंद.
वो तो मैं कम करता हूँ चेक लोड कर दिया
I think it's going to be very interesting, sir. Let's see. People have started joining. Shall we start?
आ रहा है? पता चलता है?
Yes, yes. It's written live over there. Sir, I think we'll take the questions after the session. Okay.
You can take after the session.
I think I should start, sir.
We
Hello.
can start.
We can start. Hello friends, I'm Dr. Kirti, working as a diabetologist at Dr. Makkar's Diabetes and Obesity Center. On the occasion of World Obesity Day, we have planned to come live for the first time. So Dr. Makkar is here live on Facebook for the first time to answer to your questions related to obesity. This is a contribution to the World Obesity Day to create awareness to create a healthier world. So dear friends, who other than Dr. Makkar is the right person to answer the questions related to obesity? Dr. Makkar is a senior diabetes and bariatric physician and director of Dr. Makkar's Diabetes and Obesity Center. Dr. Makkar's Center is the only center which is ESOCOM, which is European Association for Study of Obesity designated center for obesity management in India. Good afternoon, sir. We welcome you.
Good afternoon, Kirti. Thank you.
Sir. So, with the aim to tackle obesity, we start our session with Dr. V.M. Makkar. Sir, my first question of the day, what is obesity?
I think it is very important question. First of all, thank you, Kirti, for setting up this idea of Facebook Live to mark the World Obesity Day, which is 4th March. And today we are basically, having this Facebook Live just to just a small attempt to educate people or disseminate more information about obesity, so people can understand that obesity is not a simple issue in life. It is an important problem. It has important health implications, and that is why it should be addressed seriously. So first thing is, what is obesity? So obesity basically is defined as excess accumulation of fat inside the body, or there is excess amount of fat in the body to the tune that it is detrimental for maintaining a normal health. So it is not just increase in body weight, it is increase in the body fat, and because of this increase in body fat, there are abnormalities in metabolism which happen, which lead to increased risk of multiple diseases, and that we will discuss when we proceed during the discussion. Now, important thing is we cannot measure this fat easily.
Okay.
So measuring body fat is very difficult. So that is why we measure weight.
Okay.
And weight is used as surrogate measure for measuring obesity, right? And similarly, we measure waist circumference,
Right.
which is a marker for central obesity. Now, once we are measuring waist circumference, we are actually not measuring fat,
Okay.
but we are measuring this as an indirect measure for central obesity. So if the waist circumference is increased, that means you have more fat in the center, in the abdomen, and this is the fat which is even riskier than the total body fat, which leads to more metabolic
Eye
complications.
opener.
Yeah.
Shall we
And you have simple, ways to calculate whether somebody is overweight or not. So simple or the most reliable parameter that is used is body mass index, for which you can find, calculation tables on Google.
There
But
is
it's
it.
a simple formula which you have to use.
Okay, right. Shall we take the next question?
Yes.
So, what are the health risks associated with obesity?
Very important again, and as you know, we have been running a campaign during last 1 week highlighting all these things.
So, you please carry on. I'll pick up the questions.
Okay, the questions are popping up.
Yeah.
So, obesity basically is considered as mother of all important diseases of adult life, whether it is the metabolic diseases or it is the atherosclerotic diseases or cardiometabolic diseases, or it is the mechanical abnormalities. The most important diseases that obesity predisposes to is development of diabetes, development of heart disease, blood pressure, cholesterol abnormalities, and some of the cancers are increased because of the increase in body weight. So there are some serious diseases which are related to obesity. In addition, there are abnormalities relating to lung function, obstructive sleep apnea, osteoarthritis, joint problems, breathing disorders, abnormal sleep, poor quality of life. So if I go on counting, there is a whole list of almost 45 diseases which are predisposed to by obesity. So obesity is possibly mother of all diseases of adult life.
Right, sir. So we'll take this question later on. Sandeep Sharma is asking a very nice question, but Sandeep will take it later on. So what causes obesity?
Okay. So as of now, if you ask me exactly, we don't know what leads to obesity. There are factors which we don't know and which are non-modifiable, like genetic predisposition, like ethnic, factors. But there are factors which are modifiable. So, if I try to put it simply, the individuals who are genetically predisposed to get obese or overweight, they will become obese or overweight if they are exposed to a unfriendly or an environment which is not conducive to maintaining normal weight. So there is genetic predisposition, there are poor eating habits, increased eating or excessive food intake, and decreased physical activity. All these factors contribute to development of overweight. Now, if somebody is not genetically predisposed to become overweight, is unlikely to become overweight unless the person is in the adverse environment. That means he or she is excessively exposed to overeating, excess of food, and poor physical activity. So, if we look at the current scenario, if we think that genetics has changed over the last 40 years, it is unlikely, because genetic changes happen over hundreds of years. What has changed in the last 40 years which has led to increase in obesity is increased availability of food and marked decrease in physical activity because of mechanization, easy availability of transportation, easy availability of all kinds of, what we call as white goods in the home appliances, that everything is being done by machines and the manual physical activity has decreased. But if there is genetic predisposition, these factors help you gain weight or predispose you to increase weight gain early.
Okay.
If you don't have a genetic predisposition, but you are still exposed to that environment which is conducive for weight gain, possibly you will still gain weight, because the genetic expression also changes with the environmental changes. So that is why we are seeing increasing prevalence of obesity, even in those people who are not initially overweight or who don't have family history of overweight or obesity, because the genetic expression is also changing.
Okay.
So it is Most important factors that we have to look at is the food intake and decreased physical activity. And if we address that, we can change a lot of obesity related issues.
So coming to the next question, how do we diagnose obesity?
So, first thing is what we call a simple eyeball test. You look at a person, you feel the person is overweight or obese, 90% chances you will be correct. Because, we can make out, okay, this person has, say, the body shape or the body mass appears to be large. So that simple eyeball test. The objective tests are the calculation of body mass index, which is calculated by dividing the weight in kilograms by height in meters squared. So it is calculated as kg per meter square, and if the body mass index in Indian setting is between 18 to 23, it is considered normal. 23 to 25 is considered overweight, and more than 25 is considered obese. Then there is parameter of central obesity. So if your waist circumference at the level of navel or just below navel is more than 90 centimeters for men and more than 80 centimeters for women, then you are having central obesity. Then there are other parameters which can be used, but they are more for experimental use. Another simple calculation is that you calculate your height in centimeters minus 100 multiplied by 0.9. So suppose your height is 160 centimeters, so minus 100 is 60 centimeters multiplied by 0.9. That is approximately your normal weight. So if you have that plus 10%, you are overweight, more than 10% you are obese.
Easy way.
Very simple calculation, but it's a rough calculation.
Sir, obesity is a disease or a sign of prosperity? खाते पीते घर का है.
So, very important question again. हमारी actually if we look at Indian population, we even I think 10 years back, the slogan for every government used to be कि गरीबी हटाओ. So we started as poor communities. Indians were, large. Even now, almost 2/3 of the population is not well off. So they are still poor. So what happens when you move from, poor status to better socio-economic status? The first thing that you start doing is getting abundant food.
Yes.
And once you start getting abundant food, from the emaciated looks, you move to more plump looks. And that is why initially it was, and even now, some of the uneducated families, you will still commonly see the notion that, or theek hai, this guy is healthy. In fact, most of the time when a person, the ladies come with their children and they tell me, Doctor Sahab, this child is healthy. So I have to ask them, if he or she is healthy, why have you come?
Yes, true.
So first thing is, we have to start identifying that being overweight or obese is not healthy. It is unhealthy. But the obese look or overweight look is, commonly named as this person is healthy. So lady will come and tell, मेरे husband थोड़े healthy हैं. She will not say कि वो मोटे हैं या obese हैं. ठीक है? और if you tell somebody कि तुम्हारा बच्चा थोड़ा ज़्यादा weight है इसका, खाते पीते घर का है. So it's a sign of prosperity that we are, but actually, it has to be, this myth has to be cleared, and we have to start recognizing that overweight or obesity is not a good thing to have. It's a disease now, and it is labeled as a disease.
Right, sir. Truly said. Actually, emotions are attached. You can't say कि मोटा बच्चा है and just see the reaction of the mother.
Whether you like it or you don't like it, you have to,
We have to accept.
Unless you identify the problem, you can't solve the problem.
True, sir. Very true.
So I think first thing is you have to start identifying that this person is overweight or obese. And that is why you see in our center, I put every prescription I am putting the diagnosis of obesity,
Yes.
and I am also marking whether the person is complaining of obesity or no.
Your NCO is the diagnosis.
Yes, and as you see, more than 95% of the people never complain that they are
Yes.
having excess weight.
Yes, sir. Yes. Totally agree.
So there is no recognition of obesity at the individual or patient level. And we know that 80% plus of our diabetes patients are obese or overweight.
Yes, sir.
But they don't recognize obesity as a problem. Their primary problem is blood sugar.
Blood sugars.
While if they address their weight, their sugars will go off.
Yes.
And we are doing diabetes remission in so many patients by, managing their weight.
Managing the weight, right, sir.
So I think it is very important to identify that your weight is normal or abnormal. And then only you can act on it.
True, sir. So taking up the next question, how to lose weight?
Very simple.
Sandeep is asking a very good question. I think after this question which you will answer, he'll get some of the answers. But
So, the correct answer is that it's very difficult to lose weight. It is not easy. But it is not that bad also. So it needs a little more discipline and a focus on your dietary habits and a regular physical activity. I think currently the unfortunate part is that in India we do not have any weight loss medications available. The one which is available and approved is very mild and does not cause significant weight loss. So we have to largely focus on lifestyle modifications. And first thing is you have to make sure that you reduce caloric intake, you reduce the intake of calorie dense foods, and at the same time you increase physical activity. Now, increasing physical activity does not mean that you start going for walk for 40 minutes or 45 minutes in the morning and then whole of the day you are sitting in your chair. The biggest problem that we have developed over last 20 years or 30 years is that we have become physically inactive. So we have to cut down physical inactivity. That is more important. We should make it a habit to get out of our chair or bed or wherever we are sitting. At the slightest pretext, you want to have water, get out of your chair and go and have water. Don't tell your servant to get water glass to you. You want to talk to somebody on phone, get out of your chair and keep talking on phone and keep strolling within the room. You have to increase your what is called the fidgety behavior. You should not be sitting idle in the chair for long duration. Technically also you should be moving out of your chair every 45 minutes to make sure that your back is working fine, you don't get spondylitis, sprains and all these things. So your mobility is very important. Increasing physical activity is very important, and then added with some regular exercise helps you a lot. And you have to make sure that you have to cut down the intake of calorie dense foods. Now that will help you stabilize your weight, or maybe you lose a little and then maintain it. To lose body weight, you have to actually as we work with a very very structured program where you need the help of a weight management team. You have to have a dietitian, you have to have a counselor, a doctor. So you have to use lifestyle interventions including diet, exercise, some medication and regular monitoring. And at times we use supplements to make sure that you get adequate nutrition, except that we are cutting down calories. Otherwise it's very simple. You start eating half of what you are eating. So you will cut down calories, but at the same time you will cut down protein intake, mineral intake, vitamin intake, everything will change. So we have to cut down only calories while maintaining everything else in the nutrition to make sure that your body functions improve while you are losing weight. Not that you get into some kind of nutrition deficiency. So it has to be a teamwork, and patient is the important part of team. Patient has to actually decide what they want to achieve, and accordingly, the doctor, the counselor, the exercise physiotherapist, dietitian, everybody works with a common goal.
Sir, I think we should take Sandeep Sharma's question.
Yeah.
Sandeep Sharma is having BMI of 27 and his question is reduce extra tummy. Maybe for him he is asking, but he has written for those, but let's see, who don't have time, who doesn't have time. How to reduce extra tummy in those who don't have time?
So if you don't have time, you enjoy your tummy. That is the important thing. There is no way, there is no shortcut to weight loss. There is no pill as of now that we have that you pop in and you will lose weight. We are looking at something, we are very positive that we will get some medication towards the end of this year in the tablet form, which will help you reduce your appetite, so you will stop eating for a while as long as you are taking medication, and you will lose weight. But it will come at a big price. Second thing, it is not a long-term solution. So as of now, we do not have a magic formula to lose weight. So to lose weight, you have to start with lifestyle interventions and add on medication. And once you have lost, you have to continue with lifestyle interventions for rest of your life to maintain your body weight. There is no shortcut as of now.
I think Sandeep.
And important thing is, my answer to these people who say that we don't have time. So if you can't take out 1 hour for your own health, then you are not on the right track. You have to take out that 1 hour for your own health, and then only you will be able to stay healthy for the rest of your life.
Sir, I think we should take 1 or 2 more questions.
Yes, why not?
Amit is asking, sir, with your personal experience, are you seeing increase or decrease in number of obesity cases?
The numbers are increasing. They are increasing phenomenally. In fact, currently, if you look at cities like Delhi, more than 50% of the people are either overweight or obese. So the numbers are going up tremendously. And this is why we are getting, higher numbers of diabetes also in India. The diabetes is increasing at a very fast pace in India because of the increasing numbers of overweight and obese individuals also.
Sir, Akhilesh is asking a question. How connected do you think diabetes and obesity are, since you have a center that helps patients with both? It's a very good question.
So, diabetes is one of the key drivers for obesity. Obesity is a key driver for development of diabetes. So if you look at the patient data that we have worldwide, anything between 70 to 90% of the people with type 2 diabetes are reported to be overweight or obese. And obesity certainly leads to increased risk for developing diabetes. And this is, if we look at the chances of getting other diseases in relation to obese, so the risk of hypertension say goes up by 20%, the chances of obesity rise by 40% or 45%. So if you are obese, good 30 to 40% chances that you will get diabetes also.
Akhilesh has one more question to ask.
In fact, let me add to this.
Right,
If we look at the obese individuals, people who are overweight or obese, 2/3 of the people will have some or other metabolic abnormality. The commonest one being diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol abnormalities, and heart disease. 2/3 of the people have some or other problem.
Right, sir. Sir, Akhilesh has one more question to ask. Which diet is the best, keto or Mediterranean, for losing weight?
Interesting. So, initial loss, any diet will work that will help you in cutting down calories. Keto diets are, a new flavor, as they say, there used to be a popular ice cream parlor called Nirula's in Connaught Place. I am sure most of you have been there. So there used to be a flavor of the month. So keto diet is, I would say, flavor of the month. So it helps you in cutting down weight quickly, but long term it is very difficult to follow. Second, long term there is no data to support that it can be, it is safe and it may not lead to harm. So in particularly in diabetes patients, it can shift the metabolism in a negative mode, and we don't advise keto diet to most of our patients. Second thing is, whatever diet plans, you don't actually need to consult a dietitian to get a diet plan. The whole internet, Google gives you enough options all the time to choose one. But the problem is, whatever solution you are looking for, it should be a long-term solution. It is not that you just pick up a diet and follow it. That basically what we are looking at is not the diet. We are also looking at the eating behavior. So when you are in a weight loss program, we just don't give you a diet plan that you can follow. The diet should be such that it cuts down your calorie condensed foods. It gives you a full nutritional composition in terms of adequate protein, minerals, vitamins and everything. It should be easy to cook at home. It should not be totally different from what everybody else is eating at home, because you can't be cooking your food separately from everybody for the rest of your life. It should be a healthy food for everyone, and it should be palatable, and it should be something which you can make as a part of your habit for the rest of your life. So I would prefer a diet which is easy to cook. The ingredients are all the time available in kitchen. It is the commonly eaten foods that everybody eats on day-to-day basis, minus some calories, so you can have low fat cooking of the normal vegetables that you eat. Instead of parathas, you can eat chapatis. Instead of maida, you can have multigrain flour used. So there are minor modifications that you make in your kitchen. You will end up at a healthy diet which will help you in losing weight also and maintaining weight also. Going for all these fat diets, it doesn't help in long term. Short term, yes, you may lose weight, but long term it is very difficult to depend on these diets.
And I think so these will be good for the whole family.
Yes.
Basically.
So many times you will see that it is not just one person who is overweight or obese in the family. So whenever we see patient, usually we see 3-4
Yes.
people, and I tell them it is not this person has something wrong with. There is something wrong with the family kitchen and family eating habits, which needs to be addressed.
Right, sir. Sir, there is a question from Neeti. She has queries regarding weight loss and reversal, and some people claim that they can reverse diabetes with certain food. What's your take on it?
So there is sufficient data to show that if we induce significant weight loss, which is considered anything upwards of 10%. So the major data that has come on reversal or remission of diabetes using dietary interventions is from a study called DIRECT trial from UK, and this trial showed that if you if you make somebody lose 15% body weight, there is good 85% chances of remission of diabetes in these individuals. And the diets they used were formula diet. So they put these patients on very low calorie diets, which were 800 calories every day for 3 to 5 months. And then subsequently they were over 2 months period, these diets were replaced by the introduction of normal food, of course a low calorie diet. So but these very low calorie diets one should not use on one's own. It should be used in supervision, because they can cause complications also if they are used for a long period of time. No specific diet, whether it is high fat diet versus low fat diet, whether it is high protein versus low protein, whether it is high carb versus low carb, Atkins diet versus diet, no single diet has shown any benefit over other diets in terms of weight reduction. So whatever diet you are taking, ultimately you have to cut down calorie intake, and you have to ensure that you have sufficient supply of essential amino acids, essential fatty acids, adequate protein, adequate nutrients, vitamins and everything. You just need to cut down calories while taking care of the whole nutrition. I think that is the key point that you have to keep in mind for a diet.
Sir, Naveen is asking a question. What trend you are observing regarding young's obesity in young? With your personal practical experience, how can you, what can you tell about the increasing obesity or?
So there are good things and there are bad things that we are seeing in younger population. So there are people who are not bothered, who are happy-go-lucky. Every evening, since they are getting sufficient money from their parents, they are out in the market, and you go to any market, you will see people standing at the roadside shacks and eating every kind of food, whether they are obese or not. And there is other part of these youngster population who are equally aware about their weight, their physical fitness. They are regularly going to gyms. They are maintaining their physical health, and they are maintaining their weight, and they are particular about what they are eating. So I think there is a segment where there is increasing awareness about not being obese and maintaining good health. At the same time, there is another segment where they, during the young or age, or I would say adolescence onwards, they find a newly found freedom to experiment on their own with sufficient money in their pocket, and use that money in whatever way they want to use. So there are both ways. The people who are very reckless about eating, gaining weight, and there are people who are very aware about their body weight and health.
Yes, sir. So there's a question from Stan. He said due to lockdown he had increase in his weight. So what should he do? I think we have answered the question, but would you like to add something?
Yeah, I think first lockdown, led to a lot of problems. It is not just that we were confined to homes, people cut down their physical activity, and every day, the Facebook, the WhatsApp was full with the recipes or the pictures of foods that people were cooking at home. Everybody was starting, learning baking and cooking halwas and whatnot, and that is what people were eating all the time. So there is a definite, I think there are a lot of people who must have gained weight, and there are a lot of them that I also know who gained weight. But more important thing now is that now you have to get back to normal lifestyle. You have to exercise regularly, and you have to cut down your caloric intake and focus on your health. And you cannot go on like that, forever. And during lockdown also, I realized, in fact, I maintain a very regular exercise schedule, and I know people who are maintaining very, very regular exercise schedule. In fact, they improved the exercise. They started increasing their exercise duration and became more fit. So it depends. But I think you have to get back to a good active lifestyle with focus on, cutting down your caloric intake and regular physical activity.
Yash, we will take your question in our next question. So you please give us 5 minutes. I'll take next question of Amit. Sir, he's asking, is it necessary to have a professional evaluation or a professional help for obesity and management?
See, what we have seen and what most of the studies have reported that usually if you are trying to lose weight on your own, the attempts are not very successful. So you may lose initially maybe 3 to 5 kg, but usually then there is a phase of stagnation, and then you start feeling that despite all the effort I am not losing weight, frustration comes, and then you give up the effort. But once you are working with a weight management team, so they know where they can modify things and help you go on losing weight. And second thing is, during this period we also want to make sure that you don't start experimenting with different kind of non-scientific diets. Like people are advised mono diets, that you are on an egg plan for 3 days, you are on apple plan for 2 days, you are on chicken plan for 3 days. Those kind of diets are not required. Second is, then you are, there is yo-yo diets. 2 days you are not eating, 2 days you are eating, or suddenly you keep changing your weight up and down. So those things you are not required to do. There are areas which are showing, which have shown that you may, you may get better weight loss with this alternate day fasting or time restricted eating. But all these things you need to understand properly. And that is where if you are working with a proper weight management team under medical supervision, there are less chances that you end up with frustration. And there are, of course, another important factor is it is taken care that you don't end up on nutritional deficiencies or complications during your weight loss. So I think it is always advisable to go for a supervised weight management.
I think it was a very brief and a very good explanation to his question. Sir, now I'll take my question. How much weight to lose?
So you never need to go back to your ideal body weight. So whatever weight you have, your target should be to lose 10%. And if you lose 10% body weight, 90 to 95% of your healthcare issues are taken care. There is improvement in metabolism, there is improvement in diabetes, blood pressure, cholesterol level, lung function, physical fitness, cardiac function, everything. 10% weight loss gives you 90% or 95% health benefit. So that should be your first target. More important thing is, once you lose that 10%, you sustain that. Do not regain weight. That is the most important thing. So first is lose. The target should be realistic, it should not be idealistic. You don't need to achieve ideal body weight. You need to achieve only 10% weight reduction to achieve maximum health benefit, and most important thing is that you sustain that weight loss. Otherwise, you will end up regaining, and once you regain, body has a tendency to gain more weight than you have lost. There is something called set point for weight. So every time you lose weight, body feels that there is a threat. So body defense mechanisms will become active, and you will slow down on your weight loss and you will stop losing weight. And once you are gaining weight, then body is now identifying that you are in a zone where you need to accumulate extra calories to tide over another weight loss maybe in the future. So once this has happened, you may end up in another situation where again you go for weight loss. So body accumulates extra calories to tide over that next crisis. So you gain more weight. So it is like, you have undergone a famine. So you will stock extra grain for the next, you never know if there is next famine, you should have enough stocks. You don't want to be in that situation again. So that is what happens with the body. So every time you lose and regain, you go to a higher set point. And second time when you attempt weight loss, the body is tuned. Body knows that this happened earlier also. So the defense mechanisms become active faster and you will lose lesser weight. So you should not lose and regain. That yo-yo phenomena should not happen.
So that is the reason when patients, they come to you, maybe after losing once or twice, they always say, "Pehle to bahut aaram se ho gaya tha, Dr. Sahab."
So this is why the problem happens.
So now my next question is, and Yash will get his answer in the next question.
Okay.
Sir, can I achieve all health benefits with 5 to 10% weight loss?
So as I mentioned, 10% weight loss will give you more than 90% health benefits. But if you are grossly overweight, you have mechanical issues, you still need to lose more weight. Otherwise, as far as diabetes, blood pressure, all these things improve. Metabolism improves dramatically with 10% weight loss.
Yash, you will get your answer now in this question. So what is the best strategy to lose weight? Repeatedly you have been saying the same thing, but please summarize.
So ultimately, the best strategy is that involves overall focus to your health with improvement in dietary habits, improvement in the food choices, controlling the portion size, cutting down the excess calorie intake, maintaining regular physical activity, reducing physical inactivity, which is more important than maintaining regular activity, and if you are losing, preferably be under medical supervision.
Sir, out of the box, I'll ask one question, and Yash also wants the answer to this question. How much and what type of exercise do you recommend?
So maximum data is with simple brisk walk. So a brisk walk equivalent to actually, they recommended, normal recommended exercise is, if you see most of the guidelines, is 30 minutes 5 days a week is good enough. But that usually does not suffice for weight loss. So in my practice, what we have seen and what we advise now is that you should target at least 1 hour of brisk walk or equivalent aerobic exercise, which can be cycling, swimming or walking. Muscle training, maybe thrice a week, 15 to 20 minutes is good because it helps you in maintaining your muscle mass. Now, if you are not exercising and going for weight loss, you lose more muscle and less fat. But if you are exercising throughout your weight loss, then you are able to maintain muscle mass and you lose more fat. We don't want you to lose muscle mass because that is not good for health. That is why exercise is very important part of weight loss program, and you must exercise. Without exercise, don't attempt to lose weight with diets and medications or whatever herbal formulations you get off the shelf. Never attempt that.
But sir, what you must be advising as an exercise to your patient must be very customized. Means age group, means any prevalent comorbidities.
So if we look at walk, I think most of the people can walk. Now, important thing is you don't need to tell them that you have to go for a brisk walk. Somebody who has not been walking at all, if the person starts walking, say even few steps every few hours, it helps in improving the activity. And you always have to start your exercise slow, build it up gradually, and achieve a level that is comfortable to you. So, and that is helpful in weight loss. So, if you have not been walking, maybe you will start with 20 minutes. Doesn't matter. You don't need to do 1 hour in one go. But you can do 20 minutes 2 to 3 times a day. So many times you see we have patients who are, who are elderly, who are obese, who have joint problems. They are not supposed to walk long time. So they say we can walk 5 to 10 minutes comfortably. We tell them, okay, you do it 10 times a day.
Sir, I have heard you telling कि room में walk करो. What 10 steps?
So there are people like diabetes people who have peripheral neuropathy. They are not able to walk on uneven surfaces. There is a tendency to fall. There is a risk for injury. So we tell them to walk on a very flat surface and also in an environment they are used to. So they know each and every part of their room. They know they are not going to hit something. They are very. So question is not that they have to go to a park.
Okay.
Even if they are walking inside, they are actually mobilizing, improving their muscle tone. They are improving their metabolism and everything. But of course, if you are physically fit, you do not have any comorbidities, I think there is nothing to beat a good morning walk or a good walk inside a green park, because it has its own benefits. One, it disconnects from your regular environment. So that disconnect provides you a fresh air, a fresh sight on maybe flowers or greenery or lake, whatever, and you may see some birds or whatever. All these things have some kind of antidepressant effect. They have some mood elevation that you get with the exercise in an open air environment.
So that means you mean to say that losing weight will have a huge impact on your health.
Absolutely.
And from considering each and every organ, every aspect.
So so many times people, you have seen what patients are. They say, sir, where person's wife or husband will tell that she is eating too less, so she may become weak. And if you ask the patient, patient will tell, no, I am better now. I am physically more fit. I have become more active.
True, sir.
So the minute you start losing weight, in fact, once you start lifestyle modifications, you start seeing benefit even before you start losing weight.
Sir, thank you Disha, thank you Sten. Sir, in the end, would you like to give any message to our audience? How would you like to summarize the session?
So I think the whole purpose of this session was to, this is a very small step that we, plan to take in terms of increasing awareness about overweight or obesity. And I think in India particularly, the awareness of obesity is very, very low. First thing we should start focusing on is that we should take out at least 45 minutes to 1 hour every day to focus on our health, and that includes our weight also. If we start doing that, I think we will be able to avoid 90% of the diseases of adult life and old age. And the worst thing that can happen to anybody in the adult life or old age is a prolonged or a chronic illness. If you can avoid that, I think a lot good is done for everyone. And being overweight and obese puts you at risk of most of the diseases of adult life, which can be very serious, crippling. Like if you get joint problems, you are not able to move, you are healthy, but you can't go anywhere. Every time you walk, you get pain in your joints. What quality of life you are having? You end up getting some cancer because of the increased risk caused by obesity. It is not a good thing to happen for anybody. The whole family life, gets disturbed. The whole family gets into depression. You get a heart attack. Fine, you will get treated, you will get back. But once you get through a heart attack, you will never be feeling normal inside yourself. Because you are always afraid you might get a second one. And what will happen? So it puts you under tremendous pressure. So the best thing is to preserve health. And to preserve health, you have to make sure that you maintain a healthy body weight and good physical activity. I think the whole idea was to create awareness about, overweight, obesity and its health implications. And it's a very small step and small, I would say a very small bit that we try to do, and hope, even few people benefit. It's good for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you.